and very excited that Tony asked me to do a reading today. I'm going to read a piece I was going to read at New and Nearby with my daughter Amelia, and that was rescheduled for a future date when all is well in the world. And is the lighting okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks to Claire for helping me do my first live reading on Facebook. Rumi says, listen. Make a way for yourself inside yourself. Stop looking in the other way of looking. You already have a precious mixture that will make you well. Use it. So that's a major force of inspiration in my life. And now I'm going to read my piece. You do not need to be happy. You will think that you should be happy much more than you will actually be. You may think something is wrong. Unfortunately, this is just the way it is so often. You will think maybe you should adjust your TV set. And here is where the actual truth begins. You should, actually. This part here is most true. You should turn that damn television off. But you may, in fact, adjust your TV or your phone, really. Maybe it's your laptop or your tablet, or whatever newest contraption they have sold you this week that you watch your time-wasting devices. And oddly, you won't feel any happier. You may wonder if instead it is your diet which is to blame for all this malaise in your life. Here are some of the ideas I have tried to no avail. Giving up sugar, natural or otherwise. Eliminating meat, dairy, and wheat. And let me warn you, if you are like me, this will make you very, very angry. Drinking more water. Thinking about reducing your coffee intake and wondering why, for the love of all that is sacred and beautiful in the world, would your so-called friends think this terrible, awful, no good, very bad idea is something to contemplate? Forgetting that idea. Even if Ticino does taste pretty good, this list could be increased ad infinitum. Perhaps there will come a time when it occurs to you, it is not me. It is this other person here in the house with me that is the problem. Maybe this person is why I am not happy as I would like to be. Now, if you are like me, this is the most pain-inducing process. You will think and write, agonize and fret, talk and contemplate for a long, terrible time about if this relationship you are in should be changed. You may make lists of journal entries when you were happy or neutral and compare them to list when you were mortified, despondent, disappointed, or incredulous. You will count and keep score over the year, which will add to your happiness very well, making you feel like a sick and evil accountant of sadness. Ultimately, the idea will prevail that this relationship must go, and you will go about the joyless task of eliminating your possessions, looking for a new neighborhood to live, examining residents around your work and the communities you think you could live. For my part, I looked at 27 apartments and townhouses and duplexes throughout Edina, Richfield, South Minneapolis, St. Paul, and for some reason, Eagan. I personally delivered my social security number to one scam artist and sought the assistance of many police departments of complete disinterest. Ultimately, the conundrum increased my unhappiness very well. Finally, and I say finally in that way that we all know this piece of the puzzle is not the last, nor the penultimate, nor even close to the end of a series of unfortunate events. You may go about the forlorn task of attempting to break up, unsuccessfully. before it is really done. There will be letters, conversations, phone calls, and texts about this ending that seem to multiply the bad feelings way more than double. If you are like me, it will also involve getting a new phone and carrier, plus an unbelievable number of attempts to discover the necessary username and password in order to increase your bills each month, which seems like it should be unique, but it probably is not. It is a scavenger hunt of doom and chaos to your budget and free time. And so the ticket stubs, the cards and letters, the ephemera, including the necklaces, the handmade woolen hats, concert t-shirts, handwritten poems on handmade paper, and strips of photo booth pictures, flirty and shy, playful and hilarious, are all put carefully back into the beautiful screen-printed bag which he bought me from the art gallery we both loved. The collection is placed in the back of the closet, behind the dresses I will later wear on new dates with other men. Not exactly as full of optimism as I once was, but I do remember the unbridled joy and ecstatic glee I was shocked to find right there in my head when I discovered I was desirable again to one I found so appealing. I do not know where or how or when, or in whose presence this sensation will return to me, but I do believe it will again one day. I am lucky enough to have a photograph that was taken that moment of giddy awareness that I was happy again, wanted, seen, and recognized. The thought occurs to me that conjuring this feeling, remembering and even saying it out loud, could summon it sooner. So I guess not all hope is lost. Just enough to know that I must heal with uproarious laughter, secret good deeds, couple of chocolate wrappers, 57 hours of yoga on the yoga mat or in meditation, with or without bird song, and a lot of dancing of most varieties. I don't know, again, how this sensation of confidence will return to me, but I do believe it will one day soon. Part 2. After the real breakup is over, official and final, you may one day determine you are ready to go on dates again, because maybe you are just too happy. This is an excellent method of summoning mystery, confusion, and pain into your life. One releases the possibilities of being stood up, blown off, ignored, or ghosted. Maybe you have an unquenchable appetite to read the word "hey" from men of every economic background, maturity level, and social status. The options can be before or after the actual date, but not usually during. These are not the only options, but they do happen to many of us, navigating, swimming through, or simply floating in the dating pool. I have tried Bumble, Tinder, and OkCupid, as well as Hinge and Meeting Mindful, to no great success romantically. I have made some very kind and wonderful friends that were not the match I was seeking. And so I am now in a season of rest, which is bittersweet and alkaline today, but may change soon. 12/19/19, I called it quits after I wrote a love letter to a beautiful physicist in Colorado asking, should I jump on a plane to pay him a visit at the end of January? No, he said. He is on a lone mission now. I had been daydreaming about hiking with him in the mountains of Boulder, or sitting in meditation together, or possibly holding my cheek so close to his we could see if a kiss was unpreventable. I did not know he was some mixture of 007 and the Lone Ranger. I had made him a mixed tape of sorts, but through the medium of Spotify. It had 38 sultry and gorgeous songs about courage and longing, grace and freedom, to be alone with you, descriptions of the Book of Love, and ended with Daniel Johnston's "True love will find you in the end." When there was no conversation or text about the nature of these passionate songs, I should have understood better. This was not a fertile ground for sowing any seeds of sweetness. But I am a persistent woman, often to my own consternation. So I deleted all the apps on my phone, as well as the phone numbers of 28 men of small to medium annoyance that would intermittently text more than call, or text knowing I would usually call, so they didn't have to do any of the work. The arty scientist did write a few days ago explaining that his home is a mess. He was bound to visit his brother in the city where he went to Reed College, which only makes me crush harder on this smart, handsome man of unknown emotional connection ability. He did have very many valid reasons why next month is not the right time for a visit. So I undid the pausing of his Facebook feed messages and did write him back to say, I will write again when I have more time. I am writing now, although it is not to him. I am letting my sad heart rest. And after I sit in meditation, the Common Ground Center tomorrow, I may have the availability to say something real and resonant to him. I will continue avoiding the dating apps that have filled my nights with chatter, textual, and on the telephone. I won't go on dates for coffee or tea, walks with men along the river or in museums this season. 3/20/2020 will mark the day I reassess if I should recommit to another season of loving myself much more than the quest for partnership has ever allowed in the last 6 years. Maybe I will have a higher threshold for pain than one should, really. But maybe I will have gotten used to building friendships, working the steps with any of the number of women I sponsor, turning to yoga and meditation, painting and writing, cleaning my home, and deepening my love for my sweet daughters. It seems clear, but I have often proved obstinate, so more will be revealed. This is not easy or always fun. Like every other part of life, I remain human, and as terrible and glorious as that always is, so is this too. The tinny and percussive background chimes as the soulful singing of the lead singer of Los Lobos and Latin Playboys croons 10 believers in a row. And I know it will be all right. I made it through and in and out of great adventures before. It was a song I listened to as I fell in love with myself in Los Angeles, in the desert, in the gallery. This is just the newest adventure, and I can be wide-eyed and open to the mystery which is this painful and tender life. Michael Kiwanuka reminds me, time heals the pain. You ain't the problem. And with that, I just want to reread these last words from Rumi that I started these 15 minutes with. Listen. Make a way for yourself inside yourself. Stop looking in the other way of looking. You already have the precious mixture that will make you well. Use it. Thank you. Take care of yourself and each other.